Do roll call first, huh?
Roll call first.
No.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. Can we please have roll call?
Moderano,
Yes.
Armijo,
Here.
Spain,
Yes, ma'am.
Rolo, Morris,
Here.
Leone. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
No worries. Okay, go ahead and open up for public comments. No? Okay. We need an approval of the minutes for last month's meeting. Has anyone had time to read through?
I'll move that we go ahead and approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Need a second. Thank you, Ms. Norris. Thank you. Roll call.
Moderano,
Yes.
Armijo,
Yes.
Spain,
Yes, ma'am.
Norris.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and move into old business. It says we've got none. Moving on into public hearings, we've got the Mount Carmel Health and Wellness Community Center, 2024 sub-02.
Staff.
Staff report, please.
So this is a minor subdivision of the, let me make sure I get the name right here, Holy Trinity subdivision. So there's quite a bit of background on this one actually. This project is part of the affordable housing, and the project includes converting the Holy Trinity or Trinidad Catholic Former School into affordable housing. The city's worked with the applicant and some other groups as well, and we've actually applied for some grants on this thing. So one stipulation is we need to separate what's going to be affordable housing from what's going to be a hotel or hostel. So that's why we're dividing this lot one into two different pieces. So I'll go through and lot one is 1.271 acres. It's being subdivided into lot A, which is 0.447 acres, and lot B, which is 0.824 acres. All utility and access easements shown in the subdivision are to remain as they service multiple lots in the subdivision, and the minor subdivision is not going to change them. Affordable housing remains a focus for City of Trinidad, and the city has applied for 2 grants associated with affordable housing, and this project is in conjunction with the applicant. These grants are going to allow the city to upgrade infrastructure to the project site and around the project site in general. It makes this project actually viable. Lot A is proposed to be an apartment complex targeting affordable housing, and Lot B is going to be a hotel or a hostel. And as I said, the subdivision is necessary as the affordable housing grants are only eligible for the apartments. Per section 1437A of the land use code, it requires a 15% land dedication. So that's 8,305 square feet for this subdivision. The city worked with the applicant. We agreed to do a payment in lieu of because of the location of parks near the subdivision, as well as there's not really an appropriate open space in this minor sub. The payment in lieu is going to be included in the Holy Trinity Affordable Housing Economic Development Incentive Agreement that's going to be executed with City Council. It says September 17th, but it might actually be a special meeting afterwards as well, depending on how we could get this done. We're kind of a time crunch with this one. So the standards, the subdivision represents a functional system of land use consistent with the rationale and the criteria set forth in the code and the comprehensive plan. It's in the downtown corridor, and activating a now vacant property and converting it to affordable housing is definitely a big win for our city. The current zoning is historical preservation, district mixed use. So multifamily dwellings, and the hostel, those are approved uses for this. Utilities, the grants are going to allow us to upgrade utilities so this project becomes viable. So that's why we're here. The negative impacts, there's no negative impacts to the adjacent land uses. I know they've worked with the church on parking, so that's going to be a thing moving forward. But yeah, activating a vacant building is definitely encouraged, and yeah, it's like I said, it's a pretty big one for our city. The project met all zoning building codes, and we're a little ways from actually starting the project, but this is just the first step in it, kind of. So the only thing is the public land dedication. Like I said, it'll be in the payment in lieu of, and we're going to work that out in our agreement. That'll be executed by City Council September 17th, or even the week after. We'll have to see about that. There's city departments. We've worked with this applicant quite a bit on the grants itself, so they're all very familiar. There was no comments. Yeah, everything was done pretty good, and the recommendation is approval with the following conditions. Applicant will execute an economic development incentive agreement, and then all appropriate building requirements will be required for construction. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Open up for public comments now, right?
You asked if there's anybody
Is there any
to speak on
public-
the application.
Yeah, speak on the application. Would you please come forward, sir?
Good evening, gentlemen, ladies. Paul Glenn, VSTM Architecture, and Nick did a great job of explaining this project. It's a complicated project, and we're real happy that this project is moving forward. Historically, when that whole area was split up out there, this parcel was Lot 1, and at this point we're further dividing it into 2 lots. Which is a little more appropriate. There was a historical survey done back in 2001, I believe it was, and it was originally designated as one building. And so, and truly, historically, it is 2 buildings. It's the school and the convent. The uses were completely separate from each other, even though they're related, they were completely separate, built at different times historically, architecturally. So what we did, we went through History Colorado and the state of Colorado, and actually had the project split into 2 buildings. So it'd be the school, which is the main school, and the addition that was built on the corner, and then a convent building here like that. So we had the original survey through the state historic register and the national register, and got the building split into 2. And it makes sense because the uses are going to be different as well. The hostel will be, the convent will be a hostel, and then the school will be affordable housing. And so that's what's transpired. As Nick mentioned, we've been working with the state to do this. We've been working hand in hand with Mount Carmel and other various agencies for grants, et cetera. Probably the biggest one is what Nick mentioned for the infrastructure grants around the building. Right now, that whole area is undersized with sanitary, water, sewer, everything, and so part of those infrastructure grants will be upgrading that, and this building will also be a recipient of that. And so we're excited to move forward. The building is definitely an asset to the community, both historically. It's in good shape. It needs work, but it's in good shape. It's close to transportation. It's going to fill a need for affordable housing downtown. And the hostel will be great. It's making a good use of an existing building. And so we, and currently being in the Historic Preservation District, these buildings technically do not need off-street parking, but we've gone to great extents to make sure that the vacant land that's a part of this Lot 1 is used for parking. There's some open space, some little pocket areas on there where the tenants can go out and enjoy the outdoor. But the parking that we provide for these buildings does meet the zoning requirements for, if you were to do this in a CC district, these buildings do meet that. So we're not developing these buildings without that, without that aspect of the project taken into consideration. This is one step. We in our narrative, there's no adverse effects that we feel this is going to involve in the downtown area. As I said, it's close to transportation. It will meet all the building requirements as required when we go to pull permit on it. It is being reviewed on a state level historically as well. So we're following all of the state guidelines for historic preservation with History Colorado. And through that, this will follow the National Park Service standards for rehabilitation as far as historical aspects. So it meets the criteria for the Corazon District as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Any questions?
I think we're pretty good. It's been a pretty good presentation. Is there anyone else that has comments for this project?
Okay. Sorry, so this is, let me introduce Tim Lamb, he is General Counsel from Mount Carmel.
Yes, and I just want to add something. Nick was just in a meeting with Mike Valentine and myself. So to develop the housing, the affordable housing in the school, the total project cost is quite large, like $18 million. So we have been applying for certain grants. The city just recently was recipient of a Stronger Communities grant, which is about 1.6 million, somewhere in that range. And then there's another grant, which is a more Housing Now grant that comes a little bit later, which brings it up to somewhere in the $3.5, $4 million. In order to get the Stronger Communities grant, though, we have to give a deed restriction for the city to get that money. So when they do their agreement for the Stronger Communities, this has to be housing, and it's a restriction, 30 years, and we're willing to do that. That's why we have to split these buildings, because the convent, which would be a hostel, is not an affordable housing use. So Stronger Communities won't let us put a deed restriction on them. So that's sort of the practical reason that why we're here, and kind of quickly, because these are some restrictions we just really found out about in the last couple of weeks. Dealing with Michael Yerman. I just had a conversation with Mike Monday night. He's calling me, telling me what we need and how we need to get it done. Paul Glenn and I have worked together on this. So I just want you to know that this is something that will benefit the city of Trinidad, because the More Housing Now and the Stronger Communities grants will go into the infrastructure. They'll allow for the street, utilities, all of that to go in. If we can't build this project immediately, as long as that deed restriction is there, the city still gets that money. And of course, we all know the condition of some of our streets and what's underneath them. So I just want you to know that that's the practical part of this, and the benefit to the city of Trinidad is $3.5 million that goes to help this street right down here. So, any questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'm assuming there's no more other public comments.
So I'll go ahead and close that and open, am I supposed to hit this thing every time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. All right, we'll do that again one more time. So I'll go ahead and close this up and we'll start the discussion. Tell me what you think.
I'm for it.
See no problem with it.
Mr. Norris?
I'm really excited by this because it's actually the first development we've had in a while that that aligns with our goals. So I'm really excited to see this. This is all the second time we've seen this. We saw it before and released them from the responsibility of having the retail on the bottom floor of the convent, I believe. But no, I'm very excited about this. So.
I'd like to say the same. I'm super excited that the city's moving forward with meeting our goals for housing. I want to tell y'all I appreciate y'all's hard work. Y'all did a great job on the packet and making all this happen. Appreciate y'all too. Can I get a motion? Let's see how it's going to go.
I'll move that we go ahead and approve it
Do we have any
with the restrictions.
restrictions that are
Yeah,
suggested?
I had 2 conditions.
Okay.
Yeah. Execute an economic development incentives agreement and follow all appropriate building requirements for construction.
Okay. So making a motion with those amendments, right?
With them, yeah.
We got a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Moderano,
Yes.
Armijo,
Yes.
Spain,
Yes, ma'am.
Norris.
Yes.
Thank
Congratulations.
you all
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
We're very
Thank
excited.
you.
So are we.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now let's find my paperwork. And we move on to the reports now at this time, right? Do we have any chairman reports? I guess I don't have any reports. Just want to thank y'all. Commissioner reports. You got anything?
I would just like to mention that when I passed by First Street over there, saw that there was some action going on over there at the Raccoon Hotel.
Yeah. That's good
I don't
news.
know what they were doing up on top of that building, but they were doing something up there. And that's a good thing. I like to see some more happening with that, you know. That's been an eyesore for the downtown Trinidad for quite a while now.
I agree.
You know, I'd like to see something happen there.
Do you have anything? Mr. Norris?
I'd like to report the Boulevard Edition is they've got all the signage in. It's being used by Mr. and Mrs. Middle Class walking their dogs. They're in the process, the city's in the process of clearing from the old trolley trail to the railroad tracks to make sure that nobody can be camping back there, and the campers are way down, so they're offensive on relocating. I don't know what people have been doing, but
I agree.
there's a lot less tents out than there used to be.
I also had citizens mention that same thing, that the cleanup was looking very nice, and also that we had less campers down there, so that's very true.
It just helps that people are down there using that area to push up campers.
I agree with that as well. Do y'all have anything else for us?
I'll just give you a couple updates. So on the Opera House, there's, I don't know if anyone saw, it was about 2 Fridays ago, their chimney stack actually fell. It was holding by 2 guide wires. So I called their property manager and everything, let them know something happened, and then the following Friday they had a contractor out there taking it down. So that's what they were doing. They were also looking at the roof because it's obviously, you can tell from the state of the building, not in the best shape. But and then they're also working with Tura to get a loan through Tura, the Urban Renewal Authority for Trinidad, to work on some of the stabilization of the building. And I think Tura is going to require them to do a pro forma, meaning we're going to maybe see some. This is our plans for the actual building, and actually see some action on it. So it has been gaining a little traction. It takes a lot longer than we want, that's for sure. But yeah, we're starting to get a little bit of traction on that building, which I know everyone's, including myself, is happy to hear.
We appreciate all your hard work.
Yeah. Last meeting, someone brought up parking on the bridge. I talked to the public works director. He was working on it. We didn't know if we should paint it because we didn't, I don't know, painting the yellow straight. Yeah, no, the curb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that yellow curve, and I didn't know. We kind of went back and forth. So I think, and I was supposed to check with him today. So I'll follow up with everyone again. But I think he's going to do just no parking on bridge signs, both sides that way. But yeah, you can't be parking on bridge that way. You know, and I know it's not a big issue except for when there's a farmer's
tough
market
here in the farmer's market.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, we get a lot more traffic on those days than we realistically expected when we first put it there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we've outgrown that site. Maybe the solution is moving it up to a different park.
Yeah, that's very fair. But either way, there shouldn't be. We need some signs up there. So I think that's what I think his what he was working on. But I didn't get a chance to follow up with him. And the last thing is the Frontier Motel. The developer on that property, I spoke with them this past week. Yeah, I got an email Monday. They're working forward on getting a GC to do some abatement for the asbestos that's left in the building, and then they're working on getting a GC to demo the building. So they're actually getting some traction to get that thing down. And it's hard because the city wants the future development to have as much support as we can because we want a future development there, not just a vacant lot. But definitely, I'm happy to hear they're actually getting some forward movement on their demolition of that building as well.
That's some tough hurdles right there.
yeah. Asbestos asbestos abatement is a really tough one,
especially with it being an airborne demolition. I mean,
yeah.
Cover those sites in shaving cream, take care of it, man.
How were they able to go in there and do what they did?
So they had an asbestos report, and they had some areas that they blocked off that they knew there was asbestos. So when the fire chief and they had their exercise, I believe that's what it was. I was actually before I was, but they avoided those areas they were known to have asbestos. So, and usually you got it in your pipes, you know, around your pipes and stuff like that. But obviously when that agreement, when all what happened was. The fire chief thought the demolition was going to happen very soon after, you know, instead of the building look like it's stated it is right now. So, but yeah, there were some areas that they just blocked off. I'm sure it's typically they're mechanical rooms. So yeah, you kind of just block as long as just saying, hey, don't go in those mechanical rooms. So
Back then, didn't they put the asbestos fiber in the concrete? If they put it around the pipes in the concrete, it seems like it would have also been fiber in the floor. Anyway. Okay.
that's all I have.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. Is that everything that we need to do?
Oh, actually, I have one more thing. I do want to appreciate you guys for showing up today. And I know I called you a little later, a couple of you, and I hate to put you on the spot like that, but this project it's a time crunch. So I do appreciate you showing up. Thank you.
I think we're all very happy to move this project forward. So it's a good deal. All right, let's go ahead and close it, y'all. Appreciate y'all.